Gripping white-knuckling adventure, Sylvester Stallone is out on a limb and up a mountain fighting the baddies. It's a cliffhanger of a movie in 35 minutes.
4.5 million people across Britain have discovered a whole new source of information through the internet. BBC Online brings you news, weather and education. It also gives you extra information on your favourite BBC programmes. The BBC would like to consult you about its online services. To receive a questionnaire, please write to BBC Online Consultation, PO Box 1001, Manchester, M60 3BJ.
On BBC Two shortly, Ken Doherty and Mark Williams provide the action in Sheffield for World Snooker. This is BBC One. Now a party election broadcast by the Liberal Democrats.
Under the Tories, hospital waiting lists got longer and longer. After the election, I expected them to come down. I never expected them to go up.
Tory education cuts meant larger and larger class sizes. I thought class sizes would go down after the election. I never expected them to go up.
Under the Tories, crime went up and up. After the election, we expected more bobbies on the beat, not fewer.
After the mess the Tories left, Labour have made some things better. But when it comes to public services, they're falling down badly.
I started nursing 28 years ago. Working with GPs, it makes me sad to see patients waiting longer and longer for their operations. It may not be a matter of life and death, but for an elderly person, every day they suffer a cataract or a painful hip is another day of real misery.
The Tories left a shameful legacy. Longer waiting lists, too few doctors and nurses, too many bureaucrats. Labour made an early promise that waiting lists would come down by 100,000. In fact, they're up 100,000.
In a well-off country like Britain, even though the Tories have gone, I think it's an outrage that waiting lists are getting longer.
Having taught infants for the last 12 years, I know how desperately important it is to reduce class sizes. It's impossible to teach young children in classes of more than 30. You just can't give them all the attention they deserve.
The Conservatives failed to invest in our future by funding schools properly. But this year, Labour's been spending even less than the Tories promised. So class sizes are actually going up.
I was hoping we'd get enough books and decent resources, but nothing's changed. It's as bad as ever it was.
I'm trying to think.
My wife and I are both pensioners, and our biggest worry is crime. In this street alone, there have been several muggings and burglaries recently.
Crime's a real worry for millions of senior citizens. They know that the best way of tackling it is to put more bobbies on the beat.
When we were younger, there were always plenty of bobbies on the beat. Today, they just don't seem to be about at all.
The government's figures have shown police numbers actually going down by 300 since Labour took office. The Liberal Democrats have costed plans for an extra 3,000 police.
There's no doubt, of course, where the blame lies for the state of our schools, our hospitals and our police, fairly and squarely on the shoulders of the last Tory government. But last May, Labour promised quick action to make things better. Now, we Liberal Democrats know that money doesn't grow on trees, and we know that it takes time to put right all the damage the Tories did for so long. But this year, things haven't even started to get better. In fact, they've got worse. Waiting lists up, class sizes larger, fewer police on the beat. Last May, only the Liberal Democrats had the courage to say that if we were prepared to pay just a little bit more, a penny on income tax, 5p on a packet of cigarettes, then at last we'd get the services this country so desperately needs.
Over the past 10 years, more and more people in Britain have discovered that the Liberal Democrat message makes straightforward common sense, and that where we have power, we really do get things done. With your support, we've made huge gains. More and more of Britain now has Liberal Democrat MPs and councils. Next Thursday, many of you will have a chance to elect more Liberal Democrat councillors. Every vote you give us, every seat we win, will help us fight for more police, better hospitals, and the best education system for all our futures. If you'd like to support the Liberal Democrats, then give us a call on 0171 227 1234 or write to us at 4 Cowley Street, London SW1P 3NB, or contact our worldwide web pages.
That broadcast can be seen again at 10:30 on BBC Two with subtitles. This is BBC One. Now the 9 o'clock news with Peter Sissons.
The United Nations says it needs £40 million for emergency airdrops to save the starving in southern Sudan. The BBC has found that many are now too weak to get to the distribution centres of what little food there is. The day of